So I want to integrate with the box.com. So what I'm doing, login to. I'm logging into box.com as a developer.box.com. I'm logging into box.com as a developer. So let me go to this. I logged into my box.com. Now in the box.com, I want to put some files. From Salesforce, I want to put some files in the box.com. Or else, from Salesforce, I want to retrieve the data which is in the box.com. There are two third-party two systems. One is the Salesforce, other one is the box.com. Now, from Salesforce, I want to push some data into box.com. How to create some data in the box.com from Salesforce. Now, who is a Salesforce? Service consumer. Who is a box.com? Service product. Here we have create new application. I logged in as a what? Developer. I logged into box.com as a developer. Create a new application. So I'm going to create some custom app. I created a custom app. Then they are asking what type of authentication you want. WAS, standard WAS or standard JWT, server authentication. Now I'm going for what? Standard WAS user authentication. Token, server authentication. Token means API key will be given. The API key. We have seen currency layer. In the currency layer, what is the queue? What key they give? Using the key, we converted the currency of dollar into rupees. Here we are going to use what? Standard 2.0. Give integration 94. Create app. View app. Now, when I create an application, then what did you receive? Client ID, client secret, read ID, whatever you have created, then the rest of the information. Now look at the format. If I want to go with the standard authentication, we are getting a client ID, client secret. Client ID, client secret. So from the Salesforce, if you want to connect with the box.com, from the Salesforce, if you want to connect with the box.com, I am getting a Visual Force page, box. What is box response? The response from the box.com will come to this. We have to give a callback URL. What is the purpose of callback URL? It will send the code back to the page. So what is the page? Box response. So go back to this. I am giving a callback URL here. Create URL. Yes. We find out salesforce.com // box. This is a callback URL. So once you create a connector, you got here client ID, client secret, callback URL. Client ID, client secret, callback URL. These are the credentials what we received. Client ID, client secret, and the callback URL. So go back to the Salesforce. Already in the Salesforce I have server data. New box, client ID. Then we have client secret. So we have a client ID, client secret. Cross check starting with I, ending with L. Starting with M and ending with K. Right. Client ID, client secret. So box.com give you client ID, client secret. Box.com give you client ID, client secret. Using the client ID, client secret, I want to authenticate with the box.com. Now look at the documentation. If you want to integrate, you have to go for the documentation. So look at the documentation, API documentation, because every system may or may not follow the same format. So if you want to integrate with the box.com, go to the box.com, look at the documents, what is the procedure they are following for authentication. They give you client ID, client secret, but what format of authentication? Is it a username password? Is it a web server authentication? What type of authentication they are following? So I'm taking one. You're looking at word, they're asking. Entry point is word. Entry point. Will give access token. Authorization. First we are looking for authorization. Authorize. Then they're giving client ID, read URL, state. So they give your first response type is code, client ID, we have to give client ID, read URL, then callback URL, state they give, what is state? A text string that you may choose, any random string of your choice. If you give these parameters, then they eventually give you response. What is the response you're going to get? What is the response you're going to get? You're going to get the response of client ID, client security, okay. You're getting a response of code. Once you got the code, what I'm doing, to this URL, I have to make a request by passing grant type, authorization code, client ID, client secret. What type of method is this? They told. Grant type, code, client ID, client secret. Then you're going to get response. Once you got the response, then we'll see how to authenticate. So they give a documentation. So as per the documentation, one extra parameter we have. In the previous example, we have client ID and a read URL. But as per the system, they are asking you to give client ID, read URL, state. Client ID, read URL, state. Three parameters they are asking you to pass. To which URL you have to send a request? This is the URL to which you have to make a request. So this is the URL to which you have to make a request. They give you URL. Entry point URL they give. Right? This is the entry point URL. This is the entry point URL what they give. Now once you understood the documentation, go back to the public string code access. Then go back public box example. Now here we got indirect URL. What is the redirect URL? HTTPS ap5.com/epic/box. This is the callback URL what we received. So first we have to request for code. If you want to request for the code, page reference call code. Then we are going to give string URL. Before I make a string URL, Before I make a string URL, I have to get the data from box.com. Like I have to get the data from server data. Server data sp equal to select client ID, client secret from this data where name equal to right boss. Now I want to send a request. If you want to send a request, what is the URL they give? They give boss. This is the URL to which you want to make a request. Then I am giving URL equal to URL plus what are the other parameters they are asking you to pass? They told grant type equal to code, open the documentation, grant type equal to code, then we need to pass client ID, then we need to give read URI, then we need to give. These are the three parameters what you have to pass. So URL equal to URL plus client ID equal to sp dot URL equal to URL plus read at URI. Then we have plus ampersand state equal to some random key they asked me to pass. They told state can be any random key of your choice. Then you have to create page reference. How do you create page? Page reference be equal to reference. Then I have to give. So what was that? Server data, client ID, client secret from server data. I give service data. Server data. So what is the other one? URL equal to URL client ID plus sp dot client ID. Somewhere anything I missed out. Client ID equal to client plus. What is the bug here? Let me check out. Variable called sp doesn't exist. Yes, it will not exist because I give local. So let me make it external. Then remove this. Okay. Now the first part of the story is completed. What is the first part of the story? Making a request for code. You are making a request to third-party system of box.com and asking them to give code information for you. Now, as you are making a request to third-party system, you have to register this endpoint URL with the remote site settings. Go back to this setup, security controllers. Then we have remote site settings, new remote site setting, box. We are done with this. First part, only we are done with the first part. Then make a request, box home, controller. Action equal to right. So when you click on the button, call code will be called. When you call a call code, we are sending a request to the URL. What is the URL? This is the endpoint URL. Response type equal to code, client ID, client secret, state equal to any random string. So it's purely based on your documentation. The system to which you are trying to integrate, the system will define your process. Go to the home. Code. Already I log into box.com, will not ask me username password. If you don't log into box.com, will ask you. There is seems to be some problem. So what is the problem that we have? Don't worry, the files are probably safe. Get in touch with box support. Invalid client. So look at the code format once again. Response type code ampersand. Now what is the problem here? Ampersand is missing for the read and warning. Review. Go back to the format, click on the code. Already a login, so it's not asking me username password. Otherwise, it will ask you to give username password of box.com. Once it asks you to give username password of the box.com, what are you finding on the URL? You're getting the code. The code is coming in the URL. If the code is coming in the URL, how do you read the code? How to read the code in the URL? Public void read code. So how the code will come? Code equal to fx pages dot current page dot get parameters dot right. You got the code. Once you receive the code, I have to make a request. Now the third request is for what? Now the request is for access token. So I need to go with request. Let's say get token. When I say get token, now the story starts actually. HTTP. You're taking your own decisions. Or document is giving boss. It's a documented format. The third party system with which you want to connect, the third party system will give you some documentation for procedure. Unless they give the documentation, we will not be able to. Unless they give the documentation of what is the procedure we have to follow, will not be. Because I am using username password format making an attempt, but your system says only I will accept web server authentication. Then obviously I will not be able to connect. So we need to make it clear what format of authentication your system is using. Accordingly, I can share my credentials. Then request dot set endpoint. So what is the endpoint that we need to connect? Go to the documentation again. Go to the documentation. Client ID, data device, state we have given already. Then we go to the next. Request for the token. This is the endpoint URL which you are making a request because it is in the form of. What is the next one? It is in the form of request. Request dot set. What is the method they give? Obviously, it's going to be post method. We have a lot of data to transfer, so obviously it's going to be post method. Then I'm giving string body equal to what is the body they are giving boss. Body equal to grant type authorization code. Then I have body equal to body plus ampersand code equal to what is the code we have? We received from the above step. In the first step we received the code. Whatever the code we received, we are sending it. Then again we have body equal to body plus client ID. Client ID equal to my client ID is in database, which I am receiving with sp dot. Then we have the next one, body equal to body plus ampersand. Then we are getting client ID equal to client secret. This is how we created. So my request is body is created. What is the body? Grant type authorization code, ampersand code, client ID code, client secret code. I guess we need to pass one more parameter. What is the parameter? Grant type code, client ID, client secret. Is it asking for the redirect URI? In the previous example, we got redirect URI. So as per the documentation, client ID, client secret code, redirect URI. But as per this documentation, grant type, code, client ID, client secret, they are not asking for redirect URI. That's what. So the authentication procedure and steps will be changing from system to system. But code thing will be the same. When it is following a web server authentication, code thing is same. But the parameters and attributes may change. Parameters and attributes may change. Now once you have set this, how do you make a request? HTTP response equal to p dot send. I have done one mistake. What is the mistake? Body request dot set. Alright, boss. Then we are going to get a response. What is the response we are receiving? As per the documentation, they told response will be coming with the access token. And they are also giving what? Reference token. They are also giving what? Reference token. Then go with this string result equal to response dot while system dot json is equal to json dot. Then we are going to take while jp dot next token. The parsing is the same procedure. What is the procedure for parsing? Check next token not equal to null. Then again jp dot get text. Then we are giving if it is a get text equal to access token, jp dot next token, access token equal to right boss. So we received access token. So let us see whether access token is coming properly or not. This is also one third party URL register. Whenever a new URL you are using, we have to go with remote site settings and register. New remote site settings. So good. Go to the response. In the response I need to go with controller. For example. Command button. Value equal to get token. Action equal to get token. First we'll see whether we are getting the token properly. Once you get the token, we'll try to perform operation on resource. So we have seen the first step, that is code is coming properly. Let us do the second step and see whether we are getting the access token properly or not. So grant the access, get token, authorization field. Now, what is the authorization? Once again check out. So request header, whether it is post, body is grant type authorization code, ampersand code, client ID, sp dot client ID, client secret, sp dot client secret, body, send a request, get the response, where was field. Once again look at the code, read the code. What is the purpose of read code? It's going to get the code of the. So fine, let us check it out. Complete. Come again. Public string is and response. We'll check out what gave us the bug. JSON response. I not saved the access token here. It's not a bug. We didn't print the value. Go to the code. Grant the access. Get token. We received the token. So what is the bug? The same issue. I didn't print the access token in the VF page. Now we go to the access token. Here the system is clear. The process is clear, right? The same example we have done in the previous case also. What is it? Request for the code, we got the code. Request for the access token, we got the access. Now I want to make some changes on this system. Now I want to make some changes on the system. So how do you make the changes? Now they give some services. What is that? Upload a file, update a file info, upload a file version, delete a copy. Some information they give. So what was that? Get a folder info, create a folder, update a folder, delete a folder, they give. So let us do with creating a new folder. When you say create a new folder, what I told? What they told? This is the URI. Boss, if you want to create a new folder, they give the following request. What is this? This is the URL to which you want to make a request. Then you have to give authorization. It's not OAuth, period. You have to provide an access token. Then, whatever the body you want to give, you have to give. Name equal to new folder, parent is some data. Name equal to new folder, parent is some data. So, this is the format in which you have to make a request to create a folder in the box.com. From Salesforce, I want to create a folder in the box.com. So, let us put this. Did you get my point? It's trying to create a folder in the box.com. From Salesforce, we are trying to create a folder in the box.com. So how do you go for it? Everybody need a 10 lakh salary, 15 lakh salary. It will be like this only, huh? Public void, create. Now what is the request we are making? HTTP, new HTTP request. Now this request is for what? This request is for service. Your service may be creating a folder or getting the data, modifying. You are trying to make some changes on the server. That's our intention. Now what is the endpoint URL? Request dot set endpoint. So what is the URL you have taken? This is the URL. Take the URL, give the URL. Then what type of method is that? They told it's a method is of type post method. So okay, request dot set method post. Now what the authorization they told? They asked us to set the body, string body. So here we are giving content in the form of JSON. We'll see without giving any content type what it will be throwing. So name receiving some folder integration 94 some folder name I give because it's a parent folder they might be giving index equal to 0. So this format what I am taking is not my format. Documentation is indicated what is the ID of the parent folder subfolder. If you are taking a parent folder index is 0. If it is subfolder give you the ID of the folder. Now I think it's a new folder what we are creating. That's the reason they have given ID equal to parent. So request dot set body. So I am not mentioning content type equal to application JSON. Let us see if they are really looking for a JSON format or any string format. If they are only looking for a JSON format, then I have to specify Content type equal to application JSON. Okay. Any query on this? Request endpoint URL, method, body, then I have to pass authentication code. Request dot set header authorization. It is not OAuth. They told boss don't take it OAuth. Space followed by then give HTTP response request. Then I'm going to get JSON response equal to response dot info. So what are you doing? Once you got the access token, we are making a request to this and asking boss create a folder called integration 9444. Create this folder in the boss.com. From Salesforce, we are making a request to create a file in the boss.com. So we need to go for one more method called create. So we can still make it dynamic where we give input text and ask you to enter the folder name, take the folder name, create a JSON. It's your choice. Code. You enter the third party system, asking you to grant the access. Once you grant the access, generate the token, your access token. Once you generate the access token, then go back and see. Now, it is not giving any folder. So probably they may be expecting a format called content type equal to application JSON. Fine. For the response, we'll print a response and see where the bug is. I told you already. The access token itself we are not received. The access token itself is not received. There is some bug with the access token itself. JSON. So let me look at the code this time. We didn't receive the access token only. As per the system, access token has to be printed. Go back, have a preview. Grant access to box.com. Get access token. Right, it's created. We got an access token and the folder. Now the folder ID, so folder is created. We got a response. Folder is created with the. Go back to this folder and see whether the files are created or not. Right, boss. What we have done from Salesforce, we have created a box.com file. Now, if you want to delete this, again go back to the documentation. They told if you want to delete this, they told delete somewhere we have to see delete folder. If you want to delete it, they told pass the ID of the folder. If you want to delete, pass the ID of the folder. So they give a documentation. So what should I do? First authenticate, get the access token, then follow the URL, make a request to delete the file. You want to update the file, make a request, get the access token. See, all these are what? Services. But how can you call this service? First authorize, then you get an access token, then go to the service request. What is the request they are asking you to send? Get the files. Right? So there are two steps. Request the access token. Once you got the access token, this is all about what? Service. If you want to get the information about a folder, they told folder/folder ID. If I give the folder ID, they'll give me the information about a folder. So how should I send? This is an endpoint URL to which I have to make a request. Whatever method is this, get then what is the folder ID? You have to pass the folder ID. If you pass the folder ID, then you are going to get access. Already. So how can you get this information? First to make a request, get the access token, then this is very easy. Only the thing is, whatever the access token we got in the previous step, apply that access token here. If you apply that access token here, we get an authorization, perform whatever the request you want. You can try out these examples from your end. Is that what's clear? People are clear? Any further queries from your end?